You know, this revolution is filled with so many ironies, really. First, you tell us that it is manly to keep your word, right? If you are a man, you keep your word. And now all of the black people in this country are demanding, and even the black people in the whole world are demanding, is that you keep your word. You told us we were free. Well, then show us that we're free. You told us that there is justice, equality for all in this country. Well, then stick to your word and let us see the justice and equality for all. Or else admit to us that you're not a man, you're a worm, you're afraid of us, you're afraid to give us equal stand. You're afraid that if you give us equal ground, that we will match you and we will override you.
Morning, family. I'm just trying to get this audio right. I've just figured out why I'm getting the triple plays. So hopefully you can hear me. I'm actually going to stop the loop and then restart it. Because what happens is it will go to another frame. I guess YouTube picks up and then the Facebook pages pick up. So I just want to make sure that we're not hearing the audio 3 times. Let me get here. I don't think I've got anybody up in here just yet, so this is a good time to get the audio right. It's early, and hopefully everybody who works days has made it to work. That's important. That's always important that we get to where we're going safely. Appreciate everybody who will share this video. And I've already put it in spaces who have been friendly to Freedmen Media. I mean, that's all I can say is they're friendly, right? I don't know if they're friends or not, but they've been friendly enough to put my videos up and share the message. Please subscribe to Freedmen Media on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. If you're checking this out through my government profile, Shannon McFall, you can request my friendship. I may not accept. If I don't know you, I probably push you to the Freedmen Media. I'm trying to keep that page as personal as possible, but it's hard to get the people over from your personal page to your business page, I guess it is, because Freedmen Media is a business, right? So appreciate NAASD. They out in California. They've already accepted the stream this morning, and it's only 6 o'clock in California. So anybody on the West Coast that's accepting my shares right now 3 hours early, I know that they about that business, and they definitely are about that business. California is leading the march right now for reparations for American freedmen, descendants of enslaved individuals. So I appreciate California, because as we know, as California goes, politics goes. And I used to say New York too, but New York is kind of losing their way with some things. So I'm going to rock with Cali, because Cali has definitely put both feet in this reparations movement, and they are doing their thing. Sister Cynthia, good morning to you. Public health is defined. Let me get that up early. Public health is defined as the art and science of protecting and improving the health of communities. You are on point as always, and it's early, so I know you ready to go. I appreciate you. I actually was spurred on, and good morning to you, sister. Good morning to you. And I'm going to throw that back up there, because as people file in, we get our 6-7 people that's going to watch this video. I was actually spurred on by my brother, Gerard. Hopefully Gerard will tune in this morning. We've been talking a lot about politics, and we've been talking a lot about our village. And Sister Cynthia, since I know you are here, can you hear me clearly? Can you hear me clearly? Is my audio good? Is that bed underneath my voice, is that low enough to where I'm not distorted? Please give me a thumbs up, a yes, a no, turn that shit down, turn that shit up, whatever you want to say. It's early. We in here by ourselves right now, so it's all good. But Brother Gerard put something in a post of mine this morning, and I'm going to share that, and we're going to break that all the way down. But I led with this image. Racism is a public health crisis, because indeed it is. Indeed it is. And if it's taken seriously and it's advocated for properly, then we can make a public health crisis non-existent, I think. I mean, if we know it's a public health crisis, then what we need to do is we need to fight it head on. Okay. I did not know this. I do know this now. Sister Cynthia's PhD is in public health, and it has prepared her for this fight. And hopefully everybody else is prepared, because it is a fight that we are into. It is a fight that we are in the midst of. Reparations for ADOS is a public licensed health intervention at the tertiary prevention level. Oh, you're using some big words early. Testing my tongue. I love that word, tertiary. A lot of people don't know what that word means. That's why I like to throw it out every now and then. I'm not all one of them people that, because I have an extensive vocabulary, that I try to throw it up in people's face. But when I want to lose a motherfucker, I'll say tertiary. I have no problem with that. I will do that in a heartbeat. Yes, I will. But I need to go back up here. Look at you throwing it out there again, So obviously my audio is good because Sister Cynthia has been going on and she ain't said can't hear you or you too loud, you too low. So I'm going to keep letting her rock with her comments because she's deep in it this morning and I appreciate that. I don't know why your comments not coming over into the chat, Freeze. A lot of people's comments who are on Facebook come over into the chat. So I'm not sure why your comments. So you need to maybe either jump over into YouTube, or if you are commenting on my personal page, maybe it's not letting them come over. But I had Facebook comments last time, so we need that comment over in either in the YouTube comments or wherever it's going to be able to go live. I can't put that comment up. But yes, there has always been racism in healthcare. Absolutely. Not for decades, for centuries. People have to understand that modern medicine was created off of Native Black Americans, off of enslaved individuals, off of American freedmen. And if you don't know these things, this isn't American History 101 this morning. Go look at it yourself. Go look at how gynecology came about in this country and how many Native Black American women, American freedmen women's wombs were torn up so they could figure out gynecology, so they could figure out the reproductive system. That's why I laugh now when people want to talk to me about abortion. Don't talk to me about abortion. As many women's wombs that were killed with them doctors trying to figure out exactly how everything was wired in there, because they wasn't tearing up no white women, only Black women. It wasn't tearing up no Latinos, no Asians. No. It was all American freedmen or enslaved individuals at the time. Yeah, we not seeing them comments on this side, Free. So get to where you were last stream so we can get them comments up. Okay. But I put this up. Racism is a public health crisis. Okay. Racism is a public health crisis. I put it up because my brother Gerard put something up called Quick Facts about Washtenaw County, and we're going to go to that link in just a minute. But I really wanted to get into this because there is something that's tied directly into racism is a public health crisis. And I will get to that in just a second. Give me 1 second here. The 3 levels of prevention is primary. Prevent before it happens, secondary disease management, immunization, and tertiary repair. Profound, truthful, all factual, and I'll actually throw your hell yeah up there. So Washtenaw County is where I grew up. I think I've mentioned that a lot. I put it in my hashtags. People know where I'm from. This is my village. Born and raised in Ann Arbor, Michigan. And I've lived all around this county. One of the things that I've seen happen over the last 50 years, I mean, I'm 52, so obviously I've seen it. And minus the years that I wasn't directly in the county, I was still connected. My kid was here. All my family were here. So, you know, I had a lot still in Washtenaw County that I cared about, but I saw a decline. I saw a decline in the way my people were living. And I'm not just talking about kinfolk, okay? I'm talking about my people. I'm not even talking about American freedmen, but I'm talking about my people. I'm talking about the way people were living. And I think I saw the public health crisis coming a lot sooner than other people did, just based on the way we grew up and the way things were sitting. Let me get this back up here because I like the way you put that from the beginning. But this situation with racism is a public health crisis. Washtenaw County didn't create that phrase. This statement has been going around the country for several years now. Okay? It's been going around the country for several years now. And I believe it's being used more as a political ploy, but I don't see any political footwork with it. And that's where people like myself and other people in each and every village around this country has to start to put in work in talking about these things, because you can't just throw things out there politically and then get people to vote for you because they think that you are recognizing that racism is a public health crisis, but then you don't do nothing about it. That's a problem. That's a huge problem. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to bring the light. Not only have we recognized it's a problem, but as Sister Cynthia said, that we have to do something about it. And it looks like she's already kind of got it all nailed down. 3 levels. 3 levels of prevention is primary. Prevent before it happens. Secondary, disease management and immunization. Tertiary, repair. Appreciate that, Free. So Washtenaw County not only put out this statement that had been used, like I said, around the country, but what they also did was they put out a nice scripted dissertation back on July 1st, 2020. Okay. I'm going to read from that before we jump into how I've seen how absolutely nothing has been done for this. Because when we talk about racism, I know people like to throw other ethnicities into racism, but the root of racism comes at the feet of American freedmen, descendants of American chattel slaves. Now, I'm not saying that anybody else hasn't experienced racism on this soil, but there wasn't any racism until they start being racist against us. Okay? You need to understand that. Racism has its roots, and its roots lie at the feet of not only enslaved individuals, but now the descendants of enslaved individuals. And I'm keeping to that point because we're going to break away from that in just a moment. It shows how they play political chess with us. They play political chess with us when we still out here playing checkers. We still out here painting Black Lives Matter murals in the street. We still running up to county buildings and jails and shit on Saturday and Sunday. We still dancing and doing cha-cha slides. We still yelling through megaphones, but ain't nobody listening. Y'all got to understand me. I care about people. I don't just care about my kinfolk. I care about all people. Well, almost all people. I'll never care about Frank Dodd. But anyways, we're going to move on. Shall we? But they put out this racism is a public health crisis on July 1st, 2020. And it said, the Washtenaw County Board of Health passed a resolution June 30th. So they already had this ready. Because if they put this out on July 1st and they had just put the bill through or passed the resolution on June 30th, they already had this scripted. Okay. This is political chess now. This is political chess. Okay. I'm gonna try to keep the comments rocking as I read, but it says the Washtenaw County Board of Health passed a resolution June 30th, 2020, explicitly declaring racism as a public health crisis and confirming that's everybody, I guess, right? Our collective, that's everybody, right? Commitment to health equity in Washtenaw County. I'm gonna read it all the way through. I ain't gonna stop this time. The Washtenaw County Board of Health passed a resolution June 30th, 2020, explicitly declaring racism as a public health crisis and confirming our collective commitment to healthy equity in Washtenaw County. Okay. Then it goes on to say, we know that racism has helped drive unequal economic, cultural, and medical circumstances that each and in concert have led to poor health outcomes for people of color. Oh, shit. Oh, shit. Now, I know they like to say this when they just talking about Black Americans, Native Black Americans, American freedmen, descendants of American chattel slavery. I know this. But I don't accept this. I don't accept this because we know, if we know anything, if we know our name, we know now that people of color does not mean Native Black Americans, does not mean the word that everybody likes to use now, African American. It does not mean that. People of color can mean anybody. It can mean Asian. Stop Asian hate. It can mean Latinos. Stop Latino hate. See, they've got protected status in this country as people of color. There's bills that makes it a hate crime that if you mess with Asians and Latinos, you can go down for ethnic intimidation, whereas we don't have protected status in this country as American freedmen. Oh, really? So was July 1st, was that just the day for everybody to put out this shallow ass statement and this shallow ass resolution, Sister Cynthia? Really? Everybody put it out July 1st, 2020. See how symbolic that is? How does everybody on code to put out something across the country at the same time talking about the same thing? Because if that's the case, how come everybody ain't talking about reparations in all 50 states? Well, at least about 48 states, because about 2 states ain't got no Black people in them, so I get it. But where we are right now, we're in the midst of a fight. And this is why using the name American Freedmen is so important, not even African American, because I already told y'all, when people like Elon Musk can be considered an African American, Elon ain't me, and I ain't Elon, for a multitude of reasons. One, I'm not a billionaire. And two, I'm not white. But it says, we know that racism has helped drive unequal economic, cultural, and medical circumstances that each and in concert led to poor health outcomes for people of color throughout America, says James J. Carty, chair of the Board of Health. Now, I don't know who James J. Carty is, whether he is a Black American, a white American. I don't know exactly who he is, but I know he is the chair. And he made this statement. He says the only way to change this is to acknowledge it and center it as we try to learn from the mistakes of our past and build a better community where all residents of Washtenaw County are served fairly and equally. Now, we went from racism is a public health crisis. Okay? We went from racism is a public health crisis. And when we think of racism, we immediately think of the detriment of Native Black Americans on this soil. Now, I know there's other people that have experienced racism, but the root of racism, where does it come from? But just by the second paragraph in this well-crafted, well-scripted dissertation, they figured out how to break racism down from Black Americans to people of color to all. So I just don't understand how they felt like this could ride. But then again, I do. Because when you got people out here who just want to paint murals and shit, who just want to jump in front of the camera, on the microphone, on the megaphone, in the pulpit, just so they can look good, that's what you gonna get. Washtenaw County's been full of a whole lot of symbolism for a long, long, long time. So, in essence, they've just been doing their job. They really haven't had to keep Black people at bay because Black people ain't been putting no pressure. Ain't that the new word nowadays? Putting pressure on things? Pressure. I'm pressure. Washtenaw County ain't been getting no pressure from Native Black Americans. American freedmen have been docile. And as my brother Gerard said, oh, you experiencing that same thing down in Montgomery County, Ohio? Sister Cynthia, I feel your pain. I feel your pain. I went back and forth briefly with my brother Gerard this morning on my Facebook post because he had sent me something. He put something in my post. And I looked at that and I got a little disturbed. And I'm like, it's too early to be getting disturbed. So let's not get disturbed. Let's put some work in early. Early. It ain't too early to put in work when you talking about your village. And I appreciate anybody that's in here. I know most people are going to stay quiet on this. A lot of y'all at work right now and y'all looking at this maybe through your phones or you got me minimized in your monitor and you got your headsets on. I'm going to be good this morning. I'm not going to cuss much. But I am going to do what I always do, and that's speak facts. See, I can say what y'all can't say a lot of times, or I can say what y'all can't say no time. Some of y'all can't bring yourselves to say some of the things that I say, and that's why I say them. That's why you need to be subscribing to Freedmen Media on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Make sure you like this video. Be so inclined to share this video. If you don't want to share it on your page, share it in Messenger, share it in your DMs. Copy the link and send it somewhere else. Somebody else needs to hear this message. It's difficult, Sister Cynthia. It's difficult. Because I get why people are the way they are. And I get why people stand back and say, you know, somebody else will do that work or put that work in. I get that. But I've been told for a long time that I have a gift. And I don't know if I have a gift or not. I've never really accepted the fact that I have a gift. But what I do have, I got to use it. I appreciate you, lady. And whatever I have, I've got to put it out there the proper way. So y'all don't hear me talk on everything because I don't know about everything and I don't see the A to Z about everything. So it's hard for me to speak on everything. But what I do know, racism is indeed a public health crisis. And let's talk about Washtenaw County. Let's talk about Washtenaw County. Hopefully the audio is still coming through clearly. If that bed is underneath me, it's not blurring out my voice at all. I want to be clear. I want to be clear because I haven't been on camera lately. Y'all know I ain't been hiding, but you know, I've been trying to be more professional with it and keep things moving. And sometimes it don't look as pretty behind the scenes as it does on camera. So I at least want to keep the audio right and keep the images that I put up. But I'm in here. Here, hold on a second. I'm in here. There I am. See, that's me. I'm in. You know what? And hold on a second. Let me just get right. I didn't even realize I didn't take my hat off. Since we talking about the village today, let's do this. Ooh, y'all saw that bald spot. Ooh. And I ain't getting no hair implants either. It is what it is. See, there we go. Now I feel like I'm talking about the mitten. Okay, I got the mitten hat on. Okay. And then I'm gonna go back under. I just wanted to let you know I'm all good, y'all. I'm all good. All right. Still ugly as ever. However, so we're going to do some things here today. We're going to talk about this situation. Yes. This situation. This situation was brought about, like I said, my brother Gerard, he's always on it, okay? And one of the smartest brothers that I've actually ever met, and I'm not just blowing smoke. Y'all know I don't blow smoke up nobody's ass, don't need to. But he's one of the smartest brothers that I've ever met in my life. I done lived 52 long ones, y'all, and I done came across a lot of smart people. But because of the way his mind works and the way mine doesn't, we're a match. Opposites attract. So Brother Gerard brought across these Washtenaw County quick facts. And I was appalled when I watched this shit, when I read this shit, when I kept looking at this shit and kept staring at this shit. I told you I wasn't gonna cuss much, so I'm gonna do cussing clusters. I'll cuss a whole lot at one time and then won't cuss again for several minutes. At least I'll try. But yes, Washtenaw County quick facts, okay? Let's just go from left to right. Let's go the way we were taught to read, okay? Washtenaw County quick facts. Washtenaw County ranks 80 out of 83 counties in Michigan for inequality. It's really difficult for me to say that. Washtenaw County ranks 80 out of 83 counties in Michigan for income inequality. Now, you just think about that. You just think about that. Because here's the thing. All y'all read just like I do. I hope everybody that's on this cast tonight, or is I say night? Good Lord. It's only 9 o'clock in the morning. I'm already saying night. Been up a while, y'all. Just letting you know I've been up a while. In this county, if we are 80th out of 83 counties in the state, and we know that there are some poor counties, in the state of Michigan. A lot of us have been to them. A lot of us have family in them. But if Washtenaw County ranks 80th out of 83, we damn near in the basement, y'all. We walk into the basement. There's only 3 other counties in the state that are worse off economically from black to white. Because that's what this is driven off of. This is driven off of stats for black to white. I'm about to show you why. It says there is a 10-year difference in life expectancy between African American freedmen, y'all. Get it in your head. Start saying it over. American freedmen, American freedmen, American freedmen. When you think of African American, think of Elon Musk and Charlize Theron. And then think of Shannon and be like, okay, are all those 3 connected? Which one of these don't match? So American freedmen and white residents in Washtenaw County. Now you see that there is a 10-year difference in life expectancy between African Americans, American freedmen, and white residents in Washtenaw County. Why white folks living so much longer in Washtenaw County than black folks? Has anybody done any type of research on that? Has anybody done any? I knew all my relatives used to live a long time. Truthfully, my mother and my father had some of the shortest lifespans of anybody in my family. My mother getting up out of here at 57, my dad getting up out of here at 67. Those are short lifespans. Where I've had grandmothers and great grandmothers living to damn near 100. My paternal grandfather, he was up in his late 80s. I don't know exactly how old my maternal grandfather was. I think he kind of ran off. I ain't never really heard the whole story on all that. He kind of ran off, got with some other family and all that kind of shit. But, you know, he was part of the reason I'm here. I get it. I just don't know how old the motherfucker was when he died, so. But it says there is a 10-year difference in life expectancy between American freedmen and white residents in Washtenaw County. Why is that? Why we ain't living long? Why we ain't living long? Yeah. Yeah. We on it, G. We on it. Thanks for joining us this morning, sir. You are the reason that we are here today. I mean, I would have come up at some point, but I probably wouldn't have came up with this type of fervor, with this type of information. But since I did, we here now. So in speaking on this, thanks again, Free, appreciate that. Speaking on this, it says, we looking at it right in the face, 10-year difference of life expectancy between American freedmen and white residents. Now, I don't know what kind of white that is, okay? Now, is that American Jewish whites? Is that German whites? Is that Irish whites? Or do they just flatten whiteness in Washtenaw County, or do they break y'all up? Because y'all flatten blackness. Do y'all flatten whiteness? It don't really matter what you are as long as you white, you right? Okay. either way, we ain't living as long as y'all, and we want to know why. I can tell you why. You want to know why? I think y'all want to know why. Y'all know why. Because racism is a public health crisis. Public health crisis. We know this. And where racism is a public health crisis, it's got to bleed over to Washtenaw County. Right or wrong? Literally, Washtenaw County is the 8th most economically segregated metropolitan region in the country. We in the top 10, y'all. We in the top 10, but this ain't Casey Kasem, all right? Brother Shannon with Freedmen Media, just bringing the truth. Thanks, G. Washtenaw County is the 8th most economically segregated metropolitan region in the country. Do you realize how many counties there are in the country? And we are in the top 10, being the most economically segregated metropolitan region in the country. Do you know how detrimental that is to American freedmen? To most of y'all out there, African Americans, Negroes, blacks, coloreds. Yeah, we know Washtenaw County. So to some of y'all, niggers, yeah, okay. That stat right there lets me know that a lot of people who look like me, well, don't nobody really look like me, but in the same shade as me, whose people descend from the same territories as me, this is why I know they got it wrong. And I've said they've got it wrong. That's why I answered Gerard earlier. I answered him earlier and I said, you know, a lot of people don't get it. A lot of these Negroes don't get it. When we talk about repair, when we talk about restorative justice, reparative justice, reparations, they don't get it. Everybody just thinks it's a check. It's a check. Well, you goddamn right. Yeah, y'all owe us some money, but there's some policy and legislation that needs to be put to it too. You can't just give somebody some money and walk away. Don't just give me no money and walk away from me.
This revolution is filled with so many ironies, really. First, you know,
What you say there, Sister Cynthia? In Montgomery County, Ohio, black men have the lowest life expectancy, 65 years old. Wow. So y'all 5 years. Y'all at least close the gap. Ain't that what they always want to do? They will always want to close the gap. So y'all close the gap from Washtenaw County. We 10 years behind. Y'all 5 years behind. But I don't give a fuck because we still ain't living as long as white folks. And there's a reason why we're not living as long as white folks. Because racism is a public health crisis. And the link that I was reading from, it says it all. It says it all. Because when I was reading from it, you have to understand. You have to understand when you start out and you are saying that racism is a public health crisis, and you declared explicitly that racism is a public health crisis, and you confirm your collective commitment to health equity in Washtenaw County, I expect you to do something about it. And why didn't other American freedmen demand that they do something about it in 2020? I believe at the time, County Commissioner Felicia Braybeck was at the center of this. And I've talked to Felicia Braybeck on my cast before. Nice lady. Very articulate. Very knowledgeable. And I would say in most people's cases, she's a person of color. And when you know that racism has helped drive unequal economic, cultural, and medical circumstances that each and in concert lead to poor health outcomes for people of color, I think they meant us. I'm just going to say that they meant us, even though I know what that truly means. Why didn't you do something about it from that day to this day? What has been done from that day to this day to kill those stats? The stats that you're looking at. Are we still the 8th most economically segregated metropolitan region in the country? Are we still living 10 years less than white people? Is Washtenaw County still at the bottom of the barrel as far as income inequality? If we not, we need a new sheet. We need to see the new stats. We need to see from 2020 to now. But I don't think it's changed much. Because that's one thing that I do know about Washtenaw County. When they do something and they really want to make it look like they're doing something, they'll put out shit like this. But they ain't put out nothing like this. You know why? Because everybody's bracing for the midterms. The midterms. Some people are looking to get elected, but the midterms, they got a lot of Democrats shaking in their boots. Yes, the Democrats are shaking in their collective boots, as they should. Ask your local units of government where the money goes. Ooh. Here you go, opening up cans of worms again, Mr. Campaign. Because the money is going somewhere. The money is going somewhere. But it's not going to the communities of color. That's what they like to say, the communities of color. We are vested in helping the communities of color. Yeah, we know you are. Just not the black ones. Uh-oh. I know this shit by heart now. I done seen Brother Campaign put this out for the last 2-3 years now. What percentage of the city of Ann Arbor's budget is spent with black-owned businesses? And if you are presently a friend of mine, or hell, you can probably go because my posts are mostly public. If you've seen the last several posts that I put up on Facebook, I've been asking about some different businesses. Fruits and vegetable marketplaces, gas stations, cell phone stores. See, I know where all the car washes is at, and I know where all the barbershops are at, and I know where all the hair salons are at. But I want to know where some of them businesses and the restaurants. I do know where all the restaurants, all the barbecue and soul food restaurants, where the black vegan restaurants at? Where the plant-based restaurants at? Black owned, thank you. Where they at? Y'all better get some plant-based options out here, because somebody might mess around and drop a bag on me and be like, you know what, why don't you open up a vegan restaurant? They already know I can cook. I got lineage in the culinary game, y'all. I just don't always express it. But my stats speak for themselves. Y'all know this. I'm not new to this. I'm true to this. We got things dropping, and I appreciate y'all. Keep me going with this chat. Y'all always keep me going. What's it say? Just bring home some down there. What? Wow. I'm letting these rock because the comments coming in hot and heavy in the chat. I don't know if there's anybody leaving anything over on the book. We on YouTube, so if there is anybody leaving anything over on the book, I can't see them. Absolutely. Absolutely. Our statistics aren't like everybody's statistics, and they can't be lumped in with everybody else. Uh-oh, Sister Cynthia putting stuff out in the atmosphere. You know, Sister Cynthia, who knows? You might see a Freedmen Media food truck before you know it. You might just. Because I know there's some brothers out here with some serious culinary skills. But they all cooking meat. And since I don't mess with meat no more, I don't really want to involve myself with something that I'm not involved in. I'm on to a healthier way of eating. By dropping the flesh, I've dropped a lot. Not weight, because I ain't moving much more than I was. I need to start working out a little bit more. I guess going to lose a little bit of weight, but I feel good. I feel good with a T on the end of it. But what I want to do is I want to stay on task with this because we ain't got done with it yet. We not done. We already know we in the top 10 of the most economically segregated metropolitan regions in the country. But did you also know that 60% of American freedmen in Washtenaw County live in low opportunity areas with limited job growth? See, I didn't read that at first the right way. 60% of, I know it says African Americans, but y'all know what I mean at this point. American freedmen in Washtenaw County live in low opportunity areas with limited job growth. We're going to have to break that low opportunity area down with limited job growth. Now, why do you feel that we have limited job growth in Washtenaw County? Why do y'all think that is, that we have limited job growth in Washtenaw County? I mean, when I was growing up, I never heard about anybody who couldn't find a job in Ann Arbor. As a matter of fact, this was the place to come to get a job, even if you didn't live in the city. And if you did live in the city, you didn't have to go outside the city to work. Those who did have to go outside, they might have had to go to a certain location, maybe like an auto plant or something like that, but they could still afford to actually live in the city of Ann Arbor. Now, people who work at those same auto plants, they can't afford to live in Ann Arbor. What's changed over the last 50 years? Why is 60% of American freedmen in Washtenaw County living in low opportunity areas? I need to know that. I need to know that. Low opportunity areas. See, what they don't want to say about Washtenaw County, because what that means is they live in low income housing. They live in subsidized territories. They don't own homes. They don't want to say that. Washtenaw County's got a way of prettying up shit. You got to understand, we used to call this a melting pot, but that is since melted. We are in a redlining territory, and most of these Negroes around here don't even know it. So when I start talking about reparative justice, when I start talking about repair, when I start talking about reparations, everybody, oh, you just begging. You just begging. Stop begging. If anybody knows me, that's the last thing I gotta fucking do is beg.
You can kill all the black folks you want, baby, but you will not kill the freedom of black folks. It's coming. We're going to get it. We fought every one of your damn lousy wars, baby.
Public health needs assessment. It's a vital advocacy tool. But we need politicians and we need the public to advocate on it. We can't just want to jump out in the middle of the street when a black man or black woman or black child gets murdered, gets assaulted, gets subjected to systemic racism, to overt racism, to just plain old goddamn racism. This has to be a consistent thing that we are involved in as American freedmen. I know. African Americans for y'all. Hell. Y'all get the name that you want and you still don't do nothing with it. Ain't got no connections to Africa other than your skin tone. But Elon Musk throws that right out the way. Because Elon Musk from Africa, and he white as a snowflake. But he right there with y'all, running neck and neck with the African Americans. 60% of African Americans in Washtenaw County live in low-income housing. What the fuck? Mayor Christopher Taylor, you got anything to say to this? Outgoing Mayor Lois Richardson, you got anything to say to this? Incoming Nicole Brown, you got anything to say to this? All y'all township supervisors, all y'all county commissioners, anybody got anything on this? State reps, I already told y'all, I'm going to be at y'all differently than the way other people been at y'all, okay? I have no problem with going at our state reps, our state senators, anybody. Jeff Irwin, we don't need no more money on our bridge card, Senator Irwin. We want equity and not on our SNAP benefits. You need to kill all that shit. We need to get to talking about land banks. We need to get to talking about home ownership. Not no bullshit. Commissioner Justin Hodge, you've ingratiated yourself into Washtenaw County now. Bruh, it's time to get to work. I saw you take that picture next to that fat head of Barack Obama. If you're going to be the Barack 2.0 and you want to get elevated up out of Washtenaw County, you can go two ways. Do something for black folks or don't. Do it right this time, or you only going to do it right one time. And I know Commissioner Hodge is on his second term, but the rest of y'all coming in, Annie Somerville, yeah. Here, let me get my little thing out. I already told y'all. Here, let me go on and come on up, just so y'all know I'm not fucking around here. I already told y'all, this is where we at. Okay? This is where we at. Let me just bring it on me, fill the screen all the way up with it. There we go. This is where we at. This voter guide, okay? Okay? And all these people, yeah, they are going to be on point. I'm going to talk about that Sister Kyra Harris Bolden. She's a candidate for Michigan Supreme Court. But we got to talk about the local folk. We got to talk about the local folk, the ones who represent Washtenaw County. 6th Congressional District, Debbie Dingo. 14th Senate District, Sue Shank. 15th Senate District, Jeff Irwin. And representative in the state legislature, Jason Morgan. Okay? Now, they're all Caucasians. But then when we start talking about some people of color, okay? Let's talk about Jimmy Wilson. Let's talk about Felicia Brayback. Who is Maurice Imhoff? I've never heard of him. He's out in Chelsea and Sylvan Township. We need to get him free. We need to get Maurice. Is Maurice a person of color? He got a real short haircut. You really can't tell until that hair start growing out and if it naps up or not. Then we got who else? Oh, we got well, I missed the page. There we go. County commissioners. Crystal Light. Is that really her name, Crystal Light? Caroline Sanders. Justin Hodge. I'm talking about all the black ones right now, y'all. From what I heard, we have a new city council person named Cynthia Harrison. She's of color. Who is Chris Watson? Is he of color? These pictures are all black and white, so I can't see if they just got tans permanently or just presently. Then we have incoming mayor in Ypsi, Nicole Brown. Ypsilanti City Council Ward 1, Michelle King, or is she Michelle King? And then there is Ypsi City Council Ward 3, Desiree Simmons. Yeah. We talking about some people of color. Because they all come for the African American vote. They all come for the African American vote. But if they're coming for the African American vote, then that means they're going to advocate for African Americans. Now, that's about as many times y'all going to hear me say African American in a row. We back to American freedmen. We off with the people of color. Okay. We off with the POC. We are American freedmen. Because there ain't no POC living 60% of us living beneath poverty and in low income areas. I heard that over half of Black Ypsi was living in poverty. I'd have to say probably half of Ann Arbor is living beneath poverty. Prove me different. I don't have the exact stat, but I'd have a hard time believing that over half of the Black Americans that live in Ann Arbor are living above poverty levels. That final with the cap, it says a 35-point gap on third grade reading test between African Americans and white students exist in Washtenaw County. 35-point gap. Now, you know what? I find this to be appalling on multiple levels. I find it to be appalling. Why? Because I can read. I can read better than most white folks. Read, write, spell, count, all that shit. And I find this appalling that there is a 35% gap on third grade reading tests between African Americans and white students in Washtenaw County. Y'all got to understand, if I'm saying it over and over like that, you better understand why. How many third graders you know going out getting a goddamn job? How many third graders you know going out trying to get a job, trying to make a substantive living so they can take care of themselves and their family? How many? But if you can't read in third grade, or you just gonna read really, really good when you get into 6th grade or 9th grade or 12th grade, no, you gonna fall behind. But you know what they do now? No Child Left Behind. They just keep passing you along till you 19 and 19 and 9 months, and then they kick your ass out on the street. Then you can go get that good enough diploma, that GED, good enough diploma. I'm done fucking around with y'all Washtenaw County politicians. And I'm done fucking around with y'all simp ass niggas out here doing nothing. Y'all want to paint yellow paint murals and shit? Do what you do. Let me know when the next one is. I'm going to get a megaphone and I'm going to come out and talk about y'all ass that day. When y'all going to paint another mural? I'm done fucking around with y'all. Painting goddamn murals in the street. Third graders can't even read and shit. My grandson's 6 years old. He can read at a third grade level right now, motherfucker. No, reading ain't fundamental no more. It ain't even approachable. Shit. I'm hot. And it's all your fault, Gerard. Y'all got a good conversation going on in chat. I wish I could be up in the chat. Y'all got a good conversation going on up in the chat. If you ain't over in the YouTube chat, they got a good conversation. Sister Cynthia, Brother Gerard got a good situation. You just being an antagonist, Frida. Okay, I'm gonna stop cussing. Gerard, he don't like when I cuss. Gerard's religious, so I'm gonna stop cussing. But where we are as a people, in all seriousness, it speaks to this. It speaks to this. I mean, the statistics are built around who we are and who we aren't as a people. And here's the thing. I always like to break this down. I always like to throw this little invisible asterisk up in there. I know that other people are struggling. Hell, they put a statistic earlier when I was reading this, and I didn't read it purposely because we are talking about American freedmen versus the system. But it says here that there is a 16-year difference in life expectancy between Latinos and white folks in Washtenaw County. 16 years. There's a 10-year difference between American freedmen and white folks, but there is a 16-year difference in life expectancy between Latinos and white folks. Now, you got to understand two things about this. One, that's fucked up. Sorry, Gerard. Two, for them to draw a statistic based on Latinos' life expectancy, must be a lot of Latinos in Washtenaw County. Oh, if y'all didn't know there was a lot of Latinos in Washtenaw County, just check out the newest restaurants in the county, okay? And I guarantee you, out of the last 5 restaurants that have opened up in Washtenaw County, 3 of them are Mexican restaurants, guaranteed. Let's go 10 and let's say 6 out of 10, the last restaurants open up in Washtenaw County have been Mexican restaurants. Now, I like Mexican food. I ain't got nothing against Mexican food, but it shows me a stat. It shows me a stat that if there's a lot of Mexican restaurants popping up everywhere, it must be a lot of Mexican eaters. And it ain't always black folks eating Mexican food, white folks eating Mexican foods. I don't even know if I've ever seen an Asian family in a Mexican restaurant. Hell, I don't see too many Asian people in Chinese food restaurants either. Oh, I need to call them back. We had so many people helping us secure a vehicle for Natty, and I haven't called everybody back to make sure that they understand that she was taken care of. But I salute everybody who did, and I'm gonna actually call people back personally because I put a lot of people on it, and she actually got what she wanted. We got what we needed, and we've moved forward. But I put a lot of people on the case, and I'm glad that things were able to come to fruition the way they did. Absolutely. Absolutely, Brother Gerard. I put the comment up there, but I hadn't responded to it. White supremacy is toxic to all life forms. That's why I'm saying I'm not negating any other ethnicity here, but when I speak to these statistics and I speak to this statistic, it's a problem. Racism is a public health crisis. Before anybody had to take this bullet, in theory and literally, before anybody else had to take it, Black Americans had to take it. This country has never been against anybody the way it's been against Black Americans. Hence the civil rights movement. If there was no civil rights movement, we wouldn't have had mass immigration. Therefore, we wouldn't have the statistic in Washtenaw County that shows Latinos live 16-year difference than white folks. You got to understand, if we gonna go somewhere, let's go somewhere. Appreciate you, Free. What you got there, Cynthia? 50%, 56%. So we can go to that, okay? We can absolutely go to that since we kind of in a free-for-all, and I got through the actual quick facts, probably not as quickly as some people would have liked. I probably should have lasted about, what have I been on? Looks like an hour and 12 minutes. I should have been on about 12 minutes for most people's taste, but it's okay. They gonna listen anyway because I ain't spat nothing but pure facts. Hispanic folk do identify as white. Now, I understand that there are different ethnicities of Hispanic folk, but they lump them all together, much like they do Black folks. So when you talk about Latinos, you're talking about Mexicans, Puerto Ricans, Dominicans, El Salvadorans, all types of shit, Guatemalans, but they just say Latinos. But at the end of the day, when it comes down to it, you got to check a box. And we know that 56% of the Hispanic population in this country identifies as white. As much melanin as they have in their skin, they don't want to be y'all Black folks. 56%. 56%. If you just know basic math, that's 1 out of 2 Hispanic folk identify as white. Okay? So when you can't figure out why all these melanated people don't identify with you and your struggle as an American freedman, as an African American, that's why. That's why right there. 56% of them identify as white. Now, is that a problem? No, it's not a problem. They can identify whoever they want to identify as. But what they do also identify as is people of color. See, how you gonna jump on both sides? I mean, they do the double Dutch better than double Dutches do double Dutch. When they come in for the resources, they people of color. But when they're coming for equity in the society that we live in, they identify as white. This ain't that deep. I know it may be deep for some folks because they ain't never heard me talk about this, because when they hear me talk about reparations, they don't understand. I'm talking about this. I'm talking about this right here, right? Her. The Making of Hispanics by Christina Z. Sounds like a good read. Sounds like a good read. Oh, Christina Mora. I'm going to see if I can get that on Audible. Yes, I am. I'm going to see if I can get that on Audible. I can't sit and just read a book. I got to put my headset in and let the book read to me. And I ingest it the same way. A lot of times I'll skip back if I heard something that I didn't quite understand, or I heard something that I felt like I needed to hear again. I love that. And then I ain't got to stop moving and stop doing what I'm already moving and doing. But this here is a problem. This is a problem. Washtenaw County has an issue. And I believe that the only way that these quick facts get turned around is if we put pressure on the politicians in place in Washtenaw County. And it's not just talking about the ones of color, because I know they all like to use that term. That's how they get elected. I get it. That's why I can never run for politics, because anybody running as an American freedman, he's gone. He out of here. They'll render me as crazy as they rendered Marianne Williamson when she started talking about motherfucking reparations. They tried to make her look crazy, and she was speaking a whole lot of sense. Now, you know, when white folks do it to their own self, there's an agenda at play. She spat hot facts on that debate stage, and they got her up out the paint quick. When they thought she was just going to come in there as a little daisy child and shit, spitting poetry and stuff, trying to talk, you know, kumbaya, they was like, okay, we'll let her stick around. But when she started talking about statistics and the detriment of American freedmen, of descendants of enslaved individuals here on this soil, they got her up out the paint.
You know, this revolution is filled with so many ironies.
Okay.
First, you tell us that it is manly to keep your word, right? If you are a man, you keep your word. And now all of the black
Well, we gonna find out.
and even the black people in the whole world are demanding is that you
We gonna find out. And I could still get a PDF read, copy and paste, and have it speak to me as well. One way or the other, that needs to happen. The Making of Hispanics. Interesting.
you're not a man, you're a word. You're afraid of us. You're afraid to give us equal stand. You're afraid that if you give us equal ground, that we will match you and we will override you.
Should be mandatory reading for a high school student. Should be mandatory reading. The Color of Money, Black Banks, and the Racial Wealth Gap. Absolutely. And that one is on Audible. How are we going to get to where we need to go if we don't put our minds in play? And we can't just get out here and yell about it. We can't just get behind the megaphone. We can't just pick up paint rollers. We can't just jump out at the sight of bloodshed. This is a everyday fight. There is an agenda to keep us down. We have to build an agenda to get up. Sister Cynthia verifying. She used her library link. So if you got a library card, you can obviously upload it and listen if it's not on Audible, or you don't have a subscription to Audible, but I know it is on Audible. But yes, this is a situation that we need to handle. Quick fast, y'all. Y'all need to understand where we are as a people. If we are ranked 80th out of 83 counties in the state for income inequality, if African American freedmen are living 10 years less than white folks, and y'all Latinos, y'all living 16 years difference. Does that mean we technically living 10 years longer than them? I don't know. But it don't matter, because they coming in getting resources day one. Day one. Illegal migrants are living better than a lot of people in Washtenaw County that aren't. Let me just say that. Let me just put that out there. Let me just put that out there. Give me 1 second. Let me adjust that a little bit. Have y'all just been seeing half of my face? Is that what it is? Not that you really need to see the whole face. I just had to adjust that. But anyways, I really forgot I was actually on camera. Hopefully I didn't dig in my nose or nothing while I was up here talking, because 8th most economically segregated metropolitan region in the country. The 8th most economically segregated metropolitan region in the country. How we get there? How we get there?
This revolution is filled with so many ironies, really.
60% of us living in low-income areas. 60% of us. Now, y'all already know who I am, and if you don't know who I am, if I am fortunate enough to have one new person looking at this cast today, you have to understand, I do not live in low-income housing to date, but I grew up in a subsidized community. I'm proud of it. C Square for life. Colonial Square raised me. But I also ventured through the West Side, Gott Street, Stand Up, and Woodlawn obviously played an integral part of my life, of my early education going to Burns Park. So I was all over this city as a youth, but I was rooted in subsidized housing, grew up in Colonial Square, and never felt like I was poor one day of my life. Let me just put that out there too. Although I grew up in Colonial Square, I never knew we was broke. I never knew we were poor. I never knew it. You giving us a lot of stuff to go on, Sister Cynthia. It sounds like you're going to have to come up as a guest one day and spit these hot facts. Oh yeah, we pulling you up. I am in a situation where I feel a responsibility to my people, to my grandkids, to my kids, to my family. And ain't nobody asked me to do this. As a matter of fact, most of my family hates that I do this. They gotta hate it because they don't support it, so they must hate it. But when I see that we are living the way we're living as a people, I obviously got to include them. Just like I said, right now, to date, I do not live in low income area, but you know what? I can't not care about it because I don't. I care about it more. I care about it more. And that one in the bottom right corner, if you know anything about me too, that hurts my heart. That hurts my heart to the nth degree. 35-point deficit in third grade reading between American freedmen children and white students. Hell, what is it between Latino students and white students? A lot of them come over here and have to are taught to speak the language. So if we 35, what they 50 points behind? I'd like to see statistics about this all up and down the board. Where do Asian kids sit? Something tells me that there's not a 35-point gap on third grade reading between Asian kids and white students. Something just tells me that. Where Arabic kids at? Chaldean kids at? I bet you in Washtenaw County, Asian kids and Hindu kids are reading better than white students. Yeah, I bet.
You will not feel the freedom of black folks. It's coming. We're going to get it. We fought every one of your damn lousy wars, lady. You give us nothing. Now the war is going to be here, but we're going to be free. Now, you kill, you
Raise the city-owned golf courses and build new co-ops like Colonial Square University townhouses in Arrowwood. Can we get a little bit of something on that? Yeah. Let's get a little something on that. I appreciate that. We need more co-ops. We need less high-rises and more co-ops. And I was big on the high-rises right now. Y'all building all these high-rises for these non-procreating people. But y'all say y'all a city for families. Kids can't be raised in no high-rise. I mean, I know they've done a wonderful job for the last 100 years in New York. Yeah, okay. But hell, these high-rises ain't for low-income folks. These high-rises are for non-procreating folks. The only little one they gonna have is a little dog, little cat. Yep, that's all they gonna have in these high-rises they building around Ann Arbor. They ain't building no high-rises for families. And the low-income housing that they say they are building, American freedmen can't qualify for that. But I tell you what, an illegal migrant that comes into the territory will be able to. They can push them right to the front of the line, because you can't have them on the street in a sanctuary territory, and all the hotel rooms are just about filled up. I mean, what's going on right now with all these people that's coming into the area and football weekends coming in? Does that mean the hotels are just getting less money, or are they charging maximum because the government's paying for these folks to stay in these hotels because they're not getting that football crowd money? That must make for some interesting weekends. Yeah. And I heard they working with Airbnb hosts too. I'm sure these Airbnb hosts, they happy as a mug out here now. Woo, they happy. They coming in getting top dollar for their money. Probably getting paid off 3-4 months at a time because the government is subsidizing migrants because this is a sanctuary territory. It's not a sanctuary territory for you Negroes. Only if you have illegally entered this country and made it to Washtenaw County. Go figure. So yeah, I'm going to wrap this up because we just about to hit 90 minutes and I think I've said all I can say. Sugar, sugar, salt, and salt. If you didn't get these quick facts, it's not my fault. I appreciate anybody that's going to check this out on the playback. I appreciate everybody that checked it out on the live. Sister Cynthia, my sister Free, Brother Gerard, thank you for coming into the chat, spitting those facts. I mean, I done heard a lot of the stuff that he said today, but I acted like I hadn't. That's part of being a host. But some of the stuff, truthfully, when I hear it, I don't really let it sink in. But some of the things that are happening in this county, in our area, they are dead set against us. And when they put out things like racism is a public health crisis and do nothing to get rid of the public health crisis, we've got to speak up as a people. We've got to speak up. They said they know that racism has helped drive unequal economic, cultural, and medical circumstances that each and in concert lead to poor health outcomes for people of color throughout America.
This revolution is filled with so many ironies, really.
But it looks like they lived more up to what they finished that paragraph with. Said the only way to change this is to acknowledge it and center it as we try to learn from the mistakes of our past. And they ain't learned from the mistakes of their past here in Washtenaw County or anywhere else in this country. And build a better community where all residents of Washtenaw County are served fairly and equally. I believe since July 1st, 2020, they have built a better community for many of the residents of Washtenaw County. I don't believe that it has served American freedmen or African Americans, but there's probably been some people of color that have benefited greatly. I can prove that. But where African Americans are concerned, American freedmen are concerned, we are not being treated fairly and equally at all. We need to stop that. Y'all be good. One love.